Chapter 11 covers interest groups, which brings us back to some older material and older terminology. If you remember back to our discussion of James Madison's Federalist 10 and 51, in particular number 10, in which he uses the term factions and saying, don't worry about any one group getting too much influence in government because they're all going to compete with each other for influence. Well, factions, we call those interest groups today. And those interest groups will do a lot of lobbying in order to exert influence on the government and get passage of legislation of things that they promote and their organization promotes. And this whole concept is known as pluralism. And this really comes down to that concept that Madison described in Federalist 10 of factions competing for influence. Now, common types of interest groups. You have business and agricultural groups promoting their economic interests. You have labor groups promoting their workers' interests. You have professional associations promoting the interests of their profession. Sometimes these are one and the same. Other times you have the labor side and the business side of the same topic. Public interest groups promote the interests other than those of traditional lobbies. So you might have like a public transit interest group promoting more spending on public transit in major cities. You have ideological groups that are highly politicized, focused around particular topics, like you have pro-abortion rights and anti-abortion rights groups that are highly political, obviously. They would fall under this ideological category. And you have public sector groups. This is often referred to as the research lobby. And this promotes funding for particular types of research, particularly medical research, to find advancements in medical treatments and technologies. How are these groups organized? Well, a lot of times they have a membership, a paying membership. They have a staff that is running the group's day-to-day operations, just like a business. Chief executive officer, director of public relations, etc. They have roles within the organization just like a business would have. Then you have the concept of collective goods. This is something that is sought by groups that is widely available to anybody, including non-members. So the AARP, for example, promotes increased spending on Social Security, Medicare, other things that benefit their retired people membership, and anybody can benefit from that. That's called a free rider. If you enjoy the benefit despite not being a member of AARP, then you're enjoying a free rider. The benefits of interest groups are informational. Maybe you're provided with information by an interest group you might not have otherwise been exposed to. Material benefits, things like discounts. The AARP can get you discounts. I am a AAA member. I can get discounts on hotel lodging and car repairs and things like that with my AAA membership. Solidary benefits. By membership groups sticking together, working together, they can advance their own causes. Okay, so solidary means solidarity. Solidarity is the root term here. And solidarity meaning we support each other and we're all working towards the same goals. Lastly, you have purposive benefit. This could be something like the discounts I mentioned above. And by being a member is the only way you could get these discount type advantages. And so the group advertises these things as some of their major accomplishments, like, hey, we went out and got all these different types of businesses to offer you discounts. The AARP block, to just put it out bluntly, old people vote. Old people vote in far higher numbers than younger people. So politicians pander to them far more than perhaps any other group. So when it comes to things like spending on Medicare and Social Security, politicians are afraid to touch those things with a 10-foot pole, even though they are careening towards a fiscal cliff. They are not affordable. There are changes that would need to be made to make those things more affordable in the future. For example, there's a cap on Social Security taxes. You only pay Social Security taxes on the first X number of dollars that you earn. If there was no cap and everyone paid Social Security taxes on their full income, regardless of its size, it would probably bring a lot more financial stability to the Social Security system. But those things are very controversial, and rather than deal with those issues head on, it often becomes a thing that politicians simply ignore. Grassroots mobilization. This means that a lobbying campaign that gets the membership to contact government officials, they knock on doors to convince other people of their goals, maybe convince them to become members. Perhaps they participate in things like telethons during a presidential campaign. These are the hands-on ways by which organizations achieve their goals, such as getting certain legislation passed or getting certain candidates elected. Business organizations in particular want to maintain a positive image. So institutional advertising is designed to create a positive image and also to create a direct association between what you have to offer the public and a catchphrase, for example, like "Got milk?" or "Beef, it's what's for dinner." So specific sectors of the economy can use institutional advertising in order to maintain that positive image and to get people to always know by those catchphrases what is being referred to. Initiatives allow proposed laws to be placed on the general election ballot and submit directly to the state's voters, and that is how things like legalization of marijuana, for example, have come to be, is interest groups promoting long enough and hard enough for politicians to allow for referendums to appear on statewide ballots, allowing for marijuana sales or allowing for gambling. Those are only a couple examples of the things that interest groups would promote being decided upon by the people. That's the conclusion of this lecture. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you in class.